Ever.
Boy, I'm really glad that sounds like soda being poured
Yeah.
and not alcohol.
There you go.
Not that I'm against alcohol,
Right.
but if that's something people want to do, then do it.
Right.
By all means, just be respectful to yourself and others and do it in a good way, and
Right.
hopefully it'll be a good way.
Right.
But here we are again.
Good morning, everybody. Minogishi good.
Yes, it's morning or afternoon or today or tomorrow or even yesterday. But it's this moment with NeSe and...
Desi.
How are you doing today, Desi?
Man, I'm alive and kicking. I'm loving the weather. This kind of weather reminds me of back home, you know, wood stoves burning and all of that. People having morning coffee and getting everything done, and then going out and seeing everybody on the res. So it's a beautiful morning.
Oh, and then I do that totally absolute amateur stuff
Yeah?
where
What do
I
you mean by that?
didn't shut my phone off.
Oh, yeah,
So
well,
we-
you know,
we
that's
got
why the beauty of when you go live, you know, things always going down at any given moment.
And I did surprise Desi today because I'm like, let's do this. And he was like, huh? But it wasn't a difficult talk. He was up for it. He was a trooper.
Well, it's a spirited thing, you know, it's always the spirit. So when we try to maybe encapsulate and formulate things, then they can all kind of go to heck sometimes, you know, like that, with a plan, you know. So I like the moment, try to walk the talk and talk the walk, all that.
Like if you overthink it,
There you go. That's
then you
what
start
I'm saying.
throwing all those expectations
Yeah,
on what it's supposed to be.
exactly.
Again, we're listening to Wookie Foot.
Yes.
We are listening to Out of the Jar,
Mm-hmm.
which we were trying to remember if it was the second album or third. So we just picked it. So thank you, Wookie Foot, once again. Mark Murphy, Wookie Foot, the family. We
Yeah.
appreciate you letting us utilize your music.
Give thanks.
Yes.
Much respect.
And if you have music out there of all genres and you want us to play it in the background, by all means, all we ask that it's at least an hour in totality of the album time. So
Right.
send us your album to, and then we'll play it.
Right. Geez, I wonder how many albums they put out over the course of their wonderful time they've been out there performing. That would be a good one
Wookie
to look
Foot?
up. Yeah.
Rumor has it that Wookie Foot, that they were approached by all major albums
Right.
or record labels, and Mr. Murphy said, I would not be a slave to the industry.
Okay.
So I got to give him some props if that story's true.
Mhm.
But I'll give him props anyway because I do know the man and he's a decent man.
I agree wholeheartedly.
And he's trying to make more than just music.
Right.
He's trying to bring that universal happiness,
Right.
as some of us wish to do or try to do,
Yes, I.
even beyond our own mechanisms of fucked upness.
I agree.
Well, you know, sometimes we don't intentionally mean to do bad.
Right.
You know, but that's just
Yeah.
kind of par for the course
Right.
when we don't think enough.
Right.
So do we think too much or do we think too little?
Things that make you go,
Right.
Yeah, I think it was years ago now. I think I was down at the old former Glam Slam, and I went to some of the shows of Wookie Foot down there back in the day, downtown Minneapolis over there. Then I got invited out a few times to bring the drum out there, represent up on stage, do a tune. I think it was, I remember JoJo way back then, and Mark as well. So good memories with all of them. Thank you guys once again, like NeSe was saying.
I'll give you my Mark Murphy story.
Okay.
When I met Mark Murphy. In 2000, I was ran over by an 80,000 pound garbage truck.
Whoa.
and it put me in the hospital
I bet.
for a little bit,
Yeah.
and put me in a rehabilitation center for a little bit
Yeah.
in Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm.
And a buddy of mine came over, Phil Kelvson, love the guy,
Right.
and he's like, "Hey, we got to get you out of here," and I'm like, "That sounds like a great idea."
Yeah, I bet you probably had to keep things going. No pun intended there.
Sanity, of course.
Right.
Because as I was in this place, the guy in the bed next to me in my room, my roommate was dying of stomach cancer.
Oh,
Yeah. So that was a
double?
daily joy, where this gentleman's cycle was to wake up, cry out in pain, throw up, and then he would go eat, come back, use the bathroom, cry in pain, throw up, and fall asleep.
My God.
Wake up, cry, pain. This was it. And then he would go eat, and then he would heavy dose at night and sleep through the night.
Wow.
And this is what I'm experiencing as I'm trying to heal
Wow.
with this guy dying of cancer. So my buddy comes and said, "Let's get you out of here." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm up with that."
I bet you're ready to get out for a bit.
So then he looks in the paper and he sees this this Minnesota Normal
Oh, yeah?
thing going on at this location, and we go there, and lo and behold, it's the Wookie Foot band and their whole presentation and their carnival of festivities.
Wow, so you just got literally out of that life experience, if you will, and then there you were, teleported right into a venue, hey?
Yep, and it was an outdoor show at a place. I think they called it the Playhouse, if I remember correctly.
Oh, yeah. I've been there.
Right off of Lindale
Yep.
and 31st.
Yeah.
And we saw this incredible band, very energetic, some great, enjoyable music, dancing stuff,
Yeah.
tapping your toes.
Right.
And after the show, we were rolling around, and then there was Mark Murphy, and I introduced myself.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked for a little bit, and then I asked him if he had any albums.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Yeah, I do. We got one, Domesticated." And I'd like to support your band. Can I buy one? And he's like, "Yeah, of course. I'll be right back." And he went to go get an album, and then he gave it to me. And when I tried to give him the money for it, he said, "Don't worry about it, dude." And he gave me the album.
He gave it to you, huh?
Gave me the album, Domesticated.
Incredible.
And that was my first experience with
Right.
Mark Murphy, him being a generous man,
Uh-huh.
and very sociable. It
Right.
was all about chatting,
Yeah.
you know. So placate or acknowledge your fans, and that's what you.
Much respect, right?
Well, I don't want to say should. That's what you should do, but it would just be the common thing, to give respect.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
if the band is what puts you there,
Uh-huh.
or does it nowadays?
Well, you would hope. I mean, it's a full package, right?
I don't know if that's the kind of package I want to open, considering the, for lack of terminology, demonistic Hollywood and music industry.
Right.
Once it gets into the $1 million,
Mm-hmm.
$1 trillion,
Yeah.
it's a big money-making industry, and so you can probably imagine there's some nefarious behavior going on.
Yeah.
Have you ever been caught up in any of these eyes wide shut moments?
Meaning?
Have you seen that Stanley Kubrick movie, Eyes Wide Shut? Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman?
No, I don't think I have. No?
The conspiracy story is that, no, it wasn't Kubrick. Or was it Kubrick? And I'm forgetting. But the guy who does the movie supposedly dies before the movie is released, and 40 minutes is missing.
Uh-huh.
And the storyline is a man stumbles upon the shing-dings of the elite and wealthy,
Okay.
and what they do in the privacies of their own homes and in the privacy of their own parties, and gets a little debauchery.
Ooh.
Debauchery, we'd say there.
Okay.
So, you ever found yourself in any kind of these situations in all your travels?
I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah, I can't say that I myself have. There's been a couple of questionable things
Yeah.
where, in downtown Minneapolis, where I've gone to some after party things where, yeah, I got the wrong vibe, and it's like, I don't know if I want to be here, you know?
Yeah.
Was anything happening? Don't know.
Right.
My assumptions, anything's possible, everything's plausible. So,
Right.
but wouldn't that be the crazy world to be involved in?
Wouldn't it be though? Yeah. Can
Where-
only imagine.
Where you were a slave to the industry,
Right.
or if you were a slave to that TikTok, or I like to say talk tick.
Right.
So then aren't we all slaves?
Yeah. Essentially, in that way.
A slave to time.
Oh yeah.
Is it on
That
our
is
side?
a fact.
Do you like time, Desi?
Not really. It often gets me to wonder. You know, how can you encapsulate time and movement and says who? You know what I mean? So time in that way, I don't know how you can, you know, the Gregorian calendar and all of this and that, how you can map it and chart it down into that reality, if you will.
I understand maybe setting up placemakers
Yeah.
or markers that would denote from then to here.
Yeah.
But the challenge is the talk tick of, okay, 8:15, 8:20, 8:35, this has to be done and this has to be done. I understand it in the sense of a cog in a wheel,
Right.
as a gear,
Yeah.
you know. But once that that specific thing is completed, do we need to continue to tick tock, tick tock, tick tock?
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
And as I looked as a Native American trying to rejuvenate the standards and the philosophy of my ancestors. I don't want to go back to bow and arrows.
Right.
Don't ever get me wrong.
Uh-huh.
I think we should utilize technology, you know,
Yeah.
but we have to step back and say, how is it helping us?
Uh-huh.
You know, so then through all this technology, do we need to be on that second by second play date? Because as a Native American, we'll talk about 3 specific times in a day.
Mm-hmm.
Sunrise, high noon,
Right.
not 12 o'clock, but
Uh-huh.
high noon when the sun was in the zenith of the sky,
Yeah.
and then sunset.
Mm-hmm.
And we would say stuff like, I'll be there at sunrise,
Yeah.
I'll be there at high noon,
Uh-huh.
or I'll be there at sunset,
Yeah.
or mid-morning or midday.
Yeah.
And that was okay.
Yeah.
You know, but then now, where it's punch in,
Chronologically.
punch in and do the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
However, I am absolutely guilty of doing the 9 to 9 of nothing.
Right.
And actually, that's a little bit about the motivation of me doing this with you. And we've talked about this, about doing doing more than what we're doing already.
Mhm.
And we talk about wanting to save the universe, saving the world, and sometimes utilizing different tools to highly enlighten your wisdom, to get knowledge, to leap from and fly, or plummet to your death. We thought we'd share these tidbits of brain farts.
So, a little bit about that in respect of asking you maybe then about the 18th, the date coming up here, speaking of time, and all that, if you could run that to our people here in the background.
Oh, what we're doing?
Yes. Just in a nutshell, a
Well,
little bit of the background of that date.
so as we talk about time and the illusion of it, there's greater cycles within the microcycles and the macrocycles, microcosm and the macrocosm. As
Okay.
above, so below. The second, the minute, the hour, the day, the month, the year, and all of these all correlate into one big, huge cycle of the universe.
Right.
Wheels within wheels, as Ezekiel may say.
Mm-hmm.
So right now we are in a phase of the cycle of the year when the Earth in its travels around the sun will create the effect of, well, it won't be effect, it's the actuality,
Okay.
unless this is all just a matrix.
We never know. Eh? That's another topic, I'm sure. So they call it the winter what, Kevin?
The winter solstice,
Okay.
where it denotes the longest night and shortest day,
Mm-hmm.
is occurring.
Okay.
When? Have we found that out?
Not exactly.
Have we tried?
Not exactly.
No, I'd say we have tried to figure
Several
it out.
times we have, and we keep getting the same answer. It's not supposed to be like that. However,
You would think with technological advancements you would be able to push your button and say, hey Siri, when is the sunrise and when is the sunset? And you would get an accurate...
with everything else we do, down to everything. And yet we can't seem to get that answer.
Right. And so we've been calculating it for the last 3-4 weeks now. And the assumption is anywhere from now, today, is it the 11th or is it the 12th?
I believe it is the 12th.
It's the 12th of December today, in the mid-morning. And we're planning on having a winter solstice celebration ceremony where we're going to try to be the light in the darkness of the northern hemisphere.
Right. And that would be on the 18th, I believe. Is that correct?
Well, we figured it was going to be anywhere from now, today, through this next week. My biggest fear is that it occurred at the full moon
It already
almost
happened.
2 weeks ago.
Meaning that it may have already happened.
Correct. But the one thing that we know for sure, that according to Siri, the sunset has not changed more than 5 minutes for the last week and a half, which is not correct at all.
Mm-hmm.
When the sun and the earth do their little dance, right now in the northern hemisphere, the sun is shining most of its light on the southern hemisphere, thus we being in winter and them being in summer.
Right.
And then it stops on that route down to the Tropic of Capricorn, and it stops for 3 days. The heavenly sun stops for 3 days.
How could that be? The smartphone perhaps isn't that smart then.
Right.
Because it's not giving us the correct, validated answer.
So then the sun in its arc, as it goes down into the Tropic of Capricorn, it seemingly stops for 3 days or it dies. The heavenly sun dies. And then
Wow.
after 3 days, then it starts up again.
What?
Ironically enough, if you think about it, if around the 21st, the heavenly sun dies, and then on the 3rd day it's going to rise again, so then we got the 24th, and if it's night, then that next morning will be the birth of the sun.
That's
Interesting.
interesting because isn't that like a biblical kind of a thing? That might be another conversation, but
absolutely.
On the 3rd day, you know.
Right?
Yeah, the rose up again. So,
but as we are trying to acknowledge and trying to connect to become in sync
right,
with this incredible time of phase or shift,
right,
that I think in simple logic that if you can tune in or fine tune into these greater cycles, it will actually help you through your cycle.
there you go. Again, as above, so below.
Correct. And like those gears that are moving together, if we can figure that out, so that when we engage our gears with other people, that we're doing something constructive and purposeful for the entire mechanism.
Human design. Each and every one is different in their makeup and their being, but yet when they come into each other's auric area field, if you will, then it can help me out here, Kevin. Branch out like we're talking about. So.
Oh, with well, some people will call it an aura.
Yeah.
Where it's like your electromagnetic field.
Right.
Of your entity will permeate beyond where you physically are, where you're visually seen.
Right.
There are some claims that this energy can be emitted up to 50 feet away from your center point.
Really? I didn't know
it's pretty
would be that far.
Pretty cool stuff.
Right.
Unfortunately, right now I can't remember what the name of the photography is called that you can see the resonance of this.
Right.
I recall one time seeing a picture of a maple leaf. And they took this imaging, and that imaging was in a different spectrum of colors. And then they cut a big chunk of the leaf off.
Right.
And when they took this particular imaging, it showed the entirety of the leaf still.
Wow.
And so that was part of this whole energy field of everything that is there. Which in itself is like, well, isn't that interesting that our ancestors would say everything has spirit?
Right. Correct.
And what is one of the words we use for spirit?
That would be money do.
Correct.
Money do. Money twos.
Well, there's some other words too, but
one of them would be that.
Right. But would it be wug for plural? Manitou wug?
Money do wug. Yep.
I'd have to check. I believe so. I'd have to look into that one. But these spirits, another name for well, not another name, but another way to describe the word Manitou is unknown or mystery.
Yeah.
Or essence. And this is almost the exact same description of what we call field.
Okay. Auric field.
And when we talk about fields,
Yeah.
then we have to include sound,
Okay.
sight,
Mm-hmm.
electromagnetic,
Uh-huh.
electric.
Right.
You know, all of these are fields.
Uh-huh.
And this field, when you break it down into its smallest minuscule piece,
Yeah.
is in everything.
Mm-hmm.
So everything encompasses this field. And so when our ancestor says everything has spirit,
Okay.
is that not the same thing that science is saying? That everything has field?
Yeah. Yeah.
So then why, as a society, do we find it repulsive for one person to be of a different color, or another person to be of a different sex,
Mm-hmm.
or even just a different ilk?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
when we're able to recognize the commonality within us all,
Right.
then we can start treating each other different.
Right.
You know, but until we until we stop being caught up in me and you
Yeah.
and them and we,
Yeah.
and start thinking about us,
Uh-huh.
is a simple answer.
Right.
But then it's the same thing about talking and action.
Yep.
And so that brings us back to where we are discussing on the 18th.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we become in sync with this darkness, because it is also going to be the new moon.
Yeah.
And this was another reason why we picked this weekend.
Yeah.
Because it's the new moon, it's going to be absolutely the darkest time of this cycle, or the darkest phase of this cycle, where we are discussing having a ceremony where we're opening up the home for people to come and feed.
Uh-huh.
And then hopefully maybe participate in a lodge,
Right.
in a sweat lodge. But as we're putting it out there, it's interesting how many takers we're getting to assist.
Right.
And is it a reflection of the greater cycle?
And Kevin, is it correct then that after the 18th, the days will get longer then? After.
Yes.
Okay.
The
very
darkness.
point then, right?
Well, if we look at the order of the universe,
Uh-huh.
that is what is assumed
Okay.
is going to occur. The
What do you mean
assumption,
that? What do you mean by that?
Anything is possible and everything is plausible.
Uh-huh.
So could we right now be on the precipice of an ice age?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, could there have been a bunch of different signs that have occurred in the universe, in the skies, in the heavens, that we as silly humans didn't care to take note of?
Uh-huh.
We were so busy with our faces in our phones,
Right.
and in our series, and in our babbling on and Babylon,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that we forgot to check the calendar, to check our watch,
We forgot to look up or look around.
or actually
Pay attention.
observe
Mm-hmm.
and have the observational skills to the real.
Yeah.
Because I have been kicking myself in the arse, even though I am a hypocrite,
Uh-huh.
with all of the purchases of movies I have
Right.
that aren't even real.
Mm-hmm.
It's not real. There's no tangible, there's nothing I can touch or hold that is the movie.
Right.
It is all a bunch of zeros and ones
Yeah.
out there in the ether
Mm-hmm.
that I bought. I took physical money that I was given. So judge me on my intelligence. Because here I have all these movies with nothing, no asset, no physical asset. So if that technology dies or gets crippled or wounded to some point, we are potentially going to be in a lot of trouble without a backup tick, tock, tock, tick.
Okay.
So, with that being said, hopefully it's not going to be going into an ice age.
Right.
Hopefully everything is going to be fine, okay. But chaos goes along with order.
Yeah.
And if order's fine, then yes, Desi, we should be going into longer days, so the darkness won't be so prevalent.
Okay.
Unfortunately, in those longer days, up here in the northern hemisphere, it's also going to be the next coldest month there is.
Right.
And we'll get, because we are about to start winter. That is one of the denotations of the winter solstice.
Right.
It's like, okay, it's going to get colder.
Right.
And then in 3 months, spring. Woo. Roughly 72 days.
Yeah.
Interesting, 72. What a wonderful number.
Yeah. That is
A
very
degree and
interesting.
arc.
Uh-huh.
A denotation of the arc of a
Right.
great cycle or circle.
Right.
And then if you divide that circle
Mm-hmm.
with the northern and southern hemisphere,
Yeah.
then we have that incredible symbol.
When you bring it into the hot air,
Yeah. What would that be?
damage.
Well, just the circle with the
Leave it in the snow.
horizon,
Okay.
Leave it in the
horizon,
Leave it in the
horizon,
Okay.
Horus.
Ah.
How many steps did it take Horus to get through the day?
How many?
24?
Wow.
24 steps, 12 steps of day, 12 steps of night, 12 steps of Horus. Horus. Hours. Hours, Horus. Interesting.
Very.
So tick-tock goes that clock,
Yeah.
and it don't never stop,
Right.
because those little ones got to grow up and be bigger ones. And unless you get the proper papers.
Right.
Are we sponsored by, are we going to take sponsors?
You would hope. We would have to put that into the equation and formula. Yes.
Hey, if you guys, anybody out there want to sponsor us, if you want to give us money so we can be some whores and say, hey, buy this and buy that, we might do it.
Right.
Of course, we'll probably scrutinize who you are and what you are as a corporation. But, yeah. Right now, I think our only sponsor is the cannabis resolution. The
Right.
cannabis resolution.
Mm-hmm.
Not the cannabis res solution. They're not sponsoring us.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have nothing to give because they're so poor.
Mm-hmm.
But the cannabis resolution, they have absolutely nothing, but they'll sponsor us. So thank you, Cannabis Resolution. Join the resolution. It's the solution.
In the making.
Cannabis. Boy, we're gonna have to. You know what? I think the next one
On it.
is gonna be the cannabis topic.
Okay.
I don't know. Have we been talking much of cannabis at all? I think we've hinted a little.
Maybe. Probably not, though.
Are we gonna come out of the closet?
Maybe.
Maybe on the third.
Okay.
Thrice.
Yeah.
On
That
the
would be a
thrice.
good number. Way to do it.
On the thrice. How do you divide a circle in 3?
Right?
Much more difficult than 4.
There you go.
A lot easier with 4.
Uh-huh.
So we'd rather have 4 than 3?
Yeah.
Well, is it better?
We wonder. We often wonder.
Who will stop the rain?
There
Or
you
who
go.
wrote the Book of Love?
Both.
Yes, both have been a pondering
Uh-huh.
and a wonder.
Right.
Full time of the year is the winter solstice, because that's also Christ Mass,
Huh.
Hanukkah,
Okay.
Kwanzaa.
Wow. That's
Is there any more?
probably
Feliz Navidad.
that too.
That's all I can think of right now.
Mm-hmm.
For the Anishinaabe, I wonder that's going to be the assignment for the listening audience, is to see if they can find the Anishinaabe word for the winter solstice.
Whew. That's a good one.
That would be a very good one. If you can find that word for me and you get it to me, I will send you a Cannabis Resolution T-shirt.
Yeah.
There's one. And also our first 4.20 subscribers will get a T-shirt also.
Good play on the number thing. Yeah.
Right? I know, but I start feeling guilty about it because every time I say 420 or
The like?
the like, I think of Adolf Hitler because that was
Ooh.
his birthday.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then now every time I think of 420, I think of the Purple Prince,
Ooh. Okay.
the purple magic of that incredible, talented Roger Prince Nelson.
Yeah.
Right. Still miss you.
Came out of that neighborhood.
Right?
82, 83.
Yeah.
80. Good memory.
Right over there by the electric fetus.
All of that area.
Long time ago.
Right?
Way back in 16 diggity dung dung.
Huh.
But if you want to come to the winter solstice celebration, hit us up. You're more than welcome. Please come join us. We'd love to have you. Starts at sunrise.
Lighting that sacred fire throughout the day.
We're gonna do a fire all day or just at night?
Well, if anything, we'll do that. Maybe all day. We'll talk about that later. but
Because we got to get more wood. If you have
Yeah.
more wood, bring some wood.
Donate an armload or two. If
Yes.
You can.
If you can bring an armload of wood, that'd be beautiful. I should probably say that. You know, if you come, bring an armful of wood.
Mm-hmm.
But then people might bring like treated wood.
Yeah, tell me.
Untreated.
Yeah.
Bring an armload of untreated wood.
Firewood.
Right. And bring the fire, because we'll burn it down.
Right. Fire within.
We'll burn it up, the fire within. We'll spark the fire. In this time of darkness, we will be the fire. We will illuminate. Are you ready to shine on, you crazy diamond?
Yes, I.
I and I.
I and I and I. Huh.
So if Gichimanadu will favor us and let us be fortunate to go through the experiences with the strength that we need, to go through this week that it's not going to be a pressure thing. It's just going to be what it is.
Thank you.
So even it's just going to be me and Desi and the girls, then it's going to be me, Desi, and the girls.
Yeah.
And we're going to eat a lot of food.
Right.
Because, yeah. Well, this is how I look at it also. I totally invite other people to do things like this, where you pick these points of the year,
Right.
and you feed people.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can, you give people things. And,
There you go.
And you be Anishinaabe, because that's what the teachings have said. You give. And so I'm utilizing this opportunity to fast and then give of myself. And so we have some morning rolls and fixings for breakfast, standard traditional breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're gonna have we're looking at having some venison, wild rice, hot dish, and some bison,
Right.
hot dish,
Uh-huh.
some wild rice, turkey wild rice soup,
Right.
and then some croissants
Yum.
with some lunch meat, and then that evening we got a 24-pound bird.
Woo.
Got a big old turkey. And so,
We got plenty then.
yeah, so we got all this food and we get it all cooked up. And then even if people don't come to eat it up,
Uh-huh.
then we just portion it all up, put it in the freezer,
And break it down for another time.
and then we have our food for the winter.
Either way, we're coming out like a what?
A raccoon
There you go.
with his little mask.
The bandit.
Yeah,
There you go.
I wasn't going to say that word.
Right.
Because then I'll probably start crying because I'll think of
AC
Burt
Bun.
Reynolds. Oh, listen to that.
Perfect time to bring up the fact that,
Wookie Foot
yeah,
is still playing in the background.
there you go.
And,
The fire will be lit.
oh yes,
Okay.
that sounds like a great idea.
All right.
And I guess maybe that would be one of the hidden games. Because a lot of people won't listen to the raw stuff.
No.
Maybe they will.
Uh-huh.
You know, so like when they hear the click,
Yeah.
you know, then they should click too. Click along if you can. Get it clicking. Ooh, hashtag. Do you know how to hashtag?
No.
Hashtag get it clicking.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's not even a click. Get it sparking.
Okay.
Spark it. Hashtag spark it.
Oh. Got a ring to it.
Right?
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I can be any more straightforward with you. Click it, spark it. Right.
Could you talk about that number that you brought up? 72.
72?
Pertaining to from the 18th up to that time.
Well, I'll preface it with every number is sacred.
Okay.
Every number has its purpose and its intent.
Mm-hmm.
And if we look at our fingers,
Mm-hmm.
we have Bajik, Nish, Nisui, Niswa, Nanan,
Yeah.
Ingodwaswe,
Uh-huh.
Nishwaswe,
Uh-huh.
Niswaswe,
Yeah.
Yangaswe, Midana.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so we got 1 through 10.
Yeah.
So, so each of those numbers being sacred in its purpose
Uh-huh.
of counting to get through with what we need, because we can easily understand why we need numbers.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, when we break it down, the circle, the cycle,
Mm-hmm.
and they cut it in half, and they cut it in half again,
Mm-hmm.
we have these 4 parts.
Correct.
Well, once you have a stick,
Uh-huh.
or metaphorically a pencil,
Mm-hmm.
like a clear sand in the ground, the most basic paper. Can you think of any more basic paper than just
Like this
sand?
scribing kind of a thing?
Sand and a
Into the sand?
pencil?
Right. No, I can't. That would do it right there.
So, you have a flat bit of sand,
Okay.
like your paper.
Yeah.
You have a stick, which is your pencil.
Mm-hmm.
You put a dot in the center of the sand.
Right.
Then if you look at that dot, it can either be just a dot,
Mm-hmm.
but at the closer perspective, it may just be another circle,
Mm-hmm.
but you're just not looking at it close enough.
Oh.
Because the stick, when it hits the sand, makes a little divot,
Mm-hmm.
a depression. Just like when you put ink to paper,
Yeah.
does it make a depression or does it build up?
Right. Exactly.
So then if you take your stick and you lay it down,
Uh-huh.
then all of a sudden you have either your line
Mm-hmm.
or your next point at the end of the stick.
Okay.
And so now you have a segment.
Mm-hmm.
So then if you take one of those points on both ends and you hold it still and you move the other one,
Mm-hmm.
it can't do anything but make a circle.
Yeah.
So then now you have a circle
Uh-huh.
with the radius, or one arm.
Uh-huh.
So the easiest next step is to flip that arm, and then now you have the diameter.
Right.
There's 2 radiuses, completing one segment
Uh-huh.
is the diameter. So then now we just cut the circle in half.
Okay.
Darn it.
So it's cut in half now.
Cut in half.
Okay.
So then logically, what would be the next way to divide it? So then now we have the cross.
Okay.
So then now we have the 4 segments.
Mm-hmm.
So then if we just keep dividing it and keep dividing it and keep dividing it and keep dividing it, we get this complex equation.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, when it gets to its absolute complexness, where you pop your noodle, guess what number you come up to?
What number would that be?
That's 72. When you divide the circle.
Really? So how do you come up with that number?
Because then when we got the circle divided into the 12
Oh.
months of the year,
I see.
and then the 12 months of the year is divided in half,
Uh-huh.
which are the solstice,
Yeah.
and then they're divided again. So you see all the quarters,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got the solstice and the equinox.
Okay.
So you can kind of look at it like the cross. The cross could maybe correlate with the solstice could correlate with the cross,
Yeah.
and the equinoxes together can be like the X.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, that would be. I think I'm jumping ahead of myself. But now I just had the total brain fart.
Oh, no.
72.
Right.
Okay, so the circle is divided into 360 degrees.
Ah. Mm-hmm.
And then when the circle, like we were talking about dividing it into the cross,
Yeah.
You know, or an X, because it's still the same divided into 4.
Right. You would.
Imagine that. Or can you imagine that?
I can.
Is this a visual? This is a visual episode. Ooh, are these episodes? I just labeled it.
There you go. Why not call it that then?
This episode?
Yeah. That would be a great idea.
Like Star Wars?
Yep. Hey, the
Next
album is
episode.
over, so that would mean.
Holy Mac, you noticed
Speaking of
that.
72.
Yeah, how many minutes were this? Don't
Maybe.
know.
We
Would
don't-
that be cool if it was 72?
Why wouldn't it be? You never know.
Right.
Hmm.
So we appreciate you guys listening to this and clawing your way through it. Hopefully none of you shoved pencils in your ears.
Or anything like that.
Right. If you have any questions for us, send them to, and we'll answer them.
Mm-hmm.
And
That went by quick.
that
Again,
went
too,
really
I thought.
quick.
Mhm.
And come join us. If you want to come and be part of this, let us know. It'd be cool and interesting to have other people on here because,
Being the game.
yes, we at some point when this gets advanced, maybe we'll technologically also,
Right.
you know,
As
coming
we go.
to a lodge near you.
Thank you. Yep.
Solstice, check it out. Ape Gish Bima Desi Wan. This is NeSe.
Gigawabaman Minowa.
Gigawabaman Nagudge.
The Gudge.
Are we gonna have a sign off? Something like maybe Toodles.